The Ahsoka series was full of points for fans to theorize about. One of the most intriguing aspects of the show's story that was never fully answered was Baylan's true intentions on Peridea. He clearly had his own agenda throughout the series, seeing the rescue of Thrawn only as a means to an end. There was something calling out to him on Peridea, something he kept very close to his chest and even deserted his own apprentice to pursue. His self-appointed mission only became more interesting when the finale ended on the cliffhanger of Baylan atop statues of Mortis Gods looking out at a beacon in the distance. With an assortment of clues in hand, a popular theory has arisen from fans since the season finale, suggesting that Baylan may have plans to unleash one of the most dangerous beings in the galaxy. Many believe that Baylan plans to release a Mortis God from Legends that is yet to appear in canon, the Mother, also known as ABELOTH. In Legends, ABELOTH, self-styled as the beloved Queen of the Stars, and also known as the Bringer of Chaos, was an extremely powerful Force entity. Her dark side powers and immortality derived from her being corrupted by drinking from the font of power and bathing in the pool of knowledge. She first lived as the Servant, a mortal woman who served the powerful ones over 100,000 years before the Battle of Yavin. Throughout her life, she became the Mother. She kept the peace between the father's warring son and daughter, and became a loving member of the family. Unfortunately, she was still mortal. She grew old while the father and the children lived on, and she feared she would lose her precious family. In a desperate attempt to hold on to the life she loved, she drank from the font of power and bathed in the pool of knowledge. Her actions corrupted her, transforming the Mother into the twisted, immortal entity known as ABELOTH. When the father discovered her crime, he departed the planet with his children, and left ABELOTH stranded. The son and the daughter enlisted the help of the Keelik hives from Alderaan, using them as workers to create massive technological artifacts to imprison ABELOTH. ABELOTH managed to escape her prison whenever the current of the Force was altered, and the flow of time changed. Each time she escaped, the son and the daughter would return to the Keeliks and defeat ABELOTH, locking her back in her prison. The cycle repeated itself for thousands of years until the death of the Ones in 21 BBY. When Jacen Solo fell to the dark side in 40 ABY, and became the Sith Lord Darth Caedus, in an attempt to change his vision of a future where the Sith ruled over the throne of Balance and his daughter, Alana, he unintentionally awoke ABELOTH, which threw the galaxy into turmoil. ABELOTH was discovered and hunted down by Luke Skywalker and his son, Ben, as well as the lost tribe of Sith. Both the Jedi and Sith constantly fought her and even destroyed some of her avatars. Ultimately, ABELOTH took the form of Senator Rokari Kem and successfully got herself elected as Chief of State of the Galactic Alliance. However, her remaining avatar bodies were killed, and she was then destroyed by Skywalker and Darth Krayt in the realm of Beyond Shadows. Despite her death, Luke and the Jedi were not convinced ABELOTH was dead for good, and thus began searching for the planet Mortis. Luke intended to locate and obtain the same dagger used to kill the Ones decades earlier during his father's encounter with them, to ensure that if ABELOTH ever returned, the Jedi would have a way to kill her permanently. This Ahsoka theory suggests that perhaps her prison can be moved to Peridea in the canon timeline, a place impossible to return from. Just as in Legends, ABELOTH could have been affected by changes in the balance of the Force, notably by the rising dark side as Palpatine ascended to power. If this is indeed the case, then she is stirring, reaching out with her power to ensure she is freed from her prison. ABELOTH would also be the perfect enemy for Ahsoka Tano, who has herself links to the cosmic beings known as the Mortis Gods. In the Clone Wars, Ahsoka was one of the 3 Jedi who encountered them. She was killed by the Sun, the manifestation of the dark side, only to be resurrected by the light side avatar known as the Daughter. If this is indeed ABELOTH, then presumably Ahsoka has inherited the Mortis Gods' role in ensuring she remains imprisoned. This theory also makes quite a bit of sense for the character of Baylan. Many fans pointed out when we first learned of these characters' names for the series that Skull and Hati are 2 wolves that chase the sun and the moon in Norse mythology. When they finally catch them, Ragnarok begins. Baylan has implied that he's searching for a way to tear down the oppressive Jedi and Sith duality in the galaxy that he despises, so awakening an entity known as the Bringer of Chaos to wreak havoc on the galaxy and bring about a Ragnarok of his own would fulfill his purpose. The big argument against this theory, though, as neat as it would be to see, is that if an entity as powerful as ABELOTH were released to wreak havoc across the galaxy, or both galaxies that we saw in the Ahsoka series, how come we don't see any repercussions or talk about it only 25 years later during the sequels? Unless it's a problem only taking place in the new galaxy where Peridea is located. This would mean that our heroes would have to travel to that new galaxy to help face her, since I don't see Ahsoka and Sabine being enough to face ABELOTH on their own. That also leaves the question of what is Thrawn's role now that he's back? Is he simply meant to be a distraction for us, to make us think he's the big bad of the era? The Ahsoka series opened up so many theories and possible pathways for the way this era could lead up to Filoni's movie, and I can't wait to see what it turns out to be, no matter what it is. What did you think of the Ahsoka series? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like the video and subscribe for coverage of Star Wars every week, and remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you all for watching, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.